A lot of people are loving themselves and trying to do better with their health. And here on Wellness Wednesday on the Debbie Nigro Show, I am kind of going to bring up a topic that I'm confused about and that maybe we can get some clarification on. Smoking is bad for your health. We know that. And we also know that kids start smoking at a very young age, like I did back when, behind the school, at 13 years old, stealing cigarettes or whatever we stole back then. And God, I remember that first cigarette. I stole my Aunt Mary's, and I was downstairs, and I couldn't get the taste out of my mouth. It was like disgusting. I felt like an ashtray. I was drinking water. I was like, oh my God. And yet somehow you get addicted to cigarettes. Okay, so not a simple topic. Okay, so now we have these smokeless cigarettes, smokeless tobacco. I know plenty of people who switched off cigarettes thinking they're doing a lot better for themselves and their families and whatever, and they have them. And the question is, are they safer? Are they something that you should switch over to? Well, I wanted to discuss this in detail today, and I didn't think I would go here right today, but I was introduced to a very interesting man through a good friend of mine. And, he spends his time following all this stuff. He's an expert on smokeless tobacco and other things. Dr. Rodu, are you there?
Hello, Debbie.
How are you? Brad Rodu. I'm so happy to have you with me today.
I'm happy to be here.
I will tell you that I'm confused, as are many people. And let me just give everybody, again, I gave your background at the beginning of the show. Let me just give you a proper introduction here. Professor of Medicine at the University of Louisville. Heads an endowed chair in tobacco harm reduction research. 20 years involved in research and policy development regarding tobacco harm reduction. And has been an expert witness at congressional hearings on tobacco harm reduction. So what is your gut reaction? Just to, my audience has never met you before. A lot of people out there smoking whatever they're smoking that they don't think is bad for them. What's your thinking?
Well, here's the deal, Debbie. When you burn anything, you create lots of chemicals. And with tobacco, you create about 5,000 chemicals, many of which are harmful over a career. That's 15, 20, 30 years. You get emphysema. You get risk for heart attacks, strokes, and many, many cancers. And that's just a start.
Okay.
But what people don't realize is that if you don't burn the tobacco, you have vastly lower risks. So with e-cigarettes, it's a vapor or an aerosol of nicotine with some flavors. With smokeless tobacco, you're taking dip or chew and putting it in your mouth. Those risks are barely measurable, and we have great evidence over the last 30 years that that's the case. But people are being misinformed. Smokers are being misinformed, most importantly, because they think it's all about the nicotine and all about the tobacco when it's not.
Okay. I think a lot of people are confused. All right, let's just break it down. So you just said regular cigarettes, the worst of the choices. Then you have the vapor the vapes that everybody's smoking with all that, puffing smoke coming out, but no, they're not burning anything. And then you're taking
it's really not smoke, Debbie.
What is it?
It's vapor.
Right.
It's like an aerosol. It's got some water. It's got something called propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin, which are both approved by the FDA for general use, now not for inhalation. But those agents haven't been indicated to be harmful in any way. And then you've got nicotine and flavors. And nicotine, a lot of people don't realize, nicotine is about as dangerous as caffeine. Yeah, your morning coffee. That's about how dangerous nicotine is. It's addictive, but it doesn't cause any of the diseases that smokers get.
Really?
Not one. Nicotine is addictive. It's a mild stimulant. A lot of people really enjoy nicotine, and tobacco harm reduction is all about helping them enjoy nicotine in a different way. Not saying you've got to give everything up, but simply switch over and not burn that tobacco anymore.
Okay, hold the thought. What am I hearing about popcorn lung? You talked about an ingredient that you said the FDA has not improved for inhalation, and yet that's what's in the smokeless cigarette. Am I hearing you correctly?
Well, okay, so popcorn lung is a special case. So now popcorn lung was seen in workers that make microwave popcorn. They were exposed to huge amounts of the buttery flavor. They were breathing the buttery flavor in these factories that were making microwave popcorn. And they did come down with something called popcorn lung, and we have a big long name for it, an official medical name, but they did have a risk for that. Now, some of those flavors are still in microwave popcorn, so a little bit of exposure doesn't hurt you if you're making your microwave popcorn and you breathe a little bit. Now, some of those buttery flavors were also in e-cigarette liquids. Now, we've never seen anyone that uses e-cigarettes, that vapes, get that popcorn lung, but a lot of us believe that we need to get those flavors out of those cigarettes, and many of the manufacturers don't use them anymore.
Okay, cool. I understand now. All right, and then then smokeless tobacco is what chewing tobacco is what you're saying has almost no harm?
Yes. Dip and chew. Everybody in America thinks that those are, you're going to drop dead from mouth cancer. And federal studies now show that the risk of mouth cancer when you dip or chew is tiny, absolutely tiny. In fact, a recent federal study showed that dippers and chewers didn't have any risk for mouth cancer, not a single bit.
This is what you spend your whole day doing, all day long, Dr. Brad Rodu?
Yes, it is. For the last 20-some years, I've been studying this issue.
Impressive amount of time. I think when somebody really focuses on something the way you have, everybody should pay attention because I'm sure you see what you see and know what you know. How many adult smokers try and quit every year and fail?
Oh, we have, 50 to 70% of smokers want to quit. How many try? It's difficult to say, but I can tell you this. About 95 to 99% of the people who try to quit can't break the habit.
And why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to not be able to quit smoking? From you're looking at this for 20 years, what is it?
It's a combination of the nicotine and the fact that smoking delivers a lot of satisfaction to smokers. They enjoy it. They're powerfully attracted to it. And they find that when they can maybe live without it until something happens, the checkbook bounces or they get an illness in the family, they need to reach for that powerful substance that helps them get through their daily lives. This is why it's not fair to demand abstinence, to demand prohibition, because nicotine itself is not that dangerous.
And so the nicotine, is it the nicotine that delivers the satisfaction?
It is. A lot of it is the nicotine. That's right. And it's the whole behavior around enjoying tobacco. And so it's not necessary to keep them from using the products altogether. But they need to switch the delivery system.
So you're you're actually saying you're encouraging smokers to switch off cigarettes and smoke vapes and smoke and chew smokeless tobacco. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. It's far less dangerous. And look, I'm not going to claim that no tobacco product is perfectly safe. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say coffee's perfectly safe or any other human activity. But the smokers are being denied by the federal government and other major medical health organizations. They're being denied these choices because they're being told that all tobacco products are equally dangerous and all tobacco products are equally evil. We've turned this into a moral crusade, and that's absolutely wrong.
Interesting conversation we're having today. When did smoking start? Who started smoking?
Oh, tobacco use originally was in the natives in this continent. In fact, Columbus discovered tobacco on his voyage and took it back to Europe, and within 100 years, tobacco was used around the globe. I mean, it is a powerful, people enjoy using tobacco. Humans have an attraction to tobacco. That's why we're not going to be, there's not going to be prohibition anytime soon.
Why am I thinking about tobacco fields and the first person who discovered that was a cool thing to do? Will they just sit down and just light up the whole plant?
No, the natives actually enjoyed tobacco in all forms. They would use it in their mouth. They would put it there and let it seep into their bloodstream through their mouth. That's what smokeless tobacco does today. It just sort of seeps that tobacco satisfaction through the linings of the cheek and gets into the blood. They also smoked it, but more for ceremonies. They didn't puff 20 or 40 cigarettes a day. Cigarettes didn't happen until much later in the 19th century and into the 20th century when they really started producing them. So it was a different concept way back when, 500 years ago.
You know what I was reading today? Just speaking of cigarettes and smoking in general, they actually, there was a story that people who are smokers don't even want to stay in smoking rooms in hotels anymore. I don't know if you
absolutely not.
Did you catch that?
It stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks.
You used to have the option of a smoking room, and we still do, a smoking room, non-smoking room, very rare, but few places, and then airplanes. Remember when people used to smoke on airplanes?
Oh, Debbie, I remember when smokers used to sit in the non-smoking section, come back to the smoking section and smoke, and then go sit away from it.
Yeah, I mean,
I got stuck in the smoking section sometimes.
Unbelievable. They actually allowed that in the air, locked in an airplane. I mean, really, nobody wants a smoking room in hotels, not even smokers. And no smoking signs are actually gaining prominence at hotels across North America. It's sort of a uncool thing to do, no matter what you're doing. Is smoking a smokeless cigarette as uncool as smoking a cigarette?
Keep in mind, it's really not smoking. It's vaping.
Okay. I'm keeping that in my mind.
Vapor, or the aerosol. But that's the key for many smokers, is to switch over.
Well, this has been quite the enlightening conversation, and I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I think that you were a wonderful addition to the show. How can people find you if they want to know more about what you know?
Well, they can consult my blog, Rodu, R-O-D-U, Tobacco Truth, or find my books on Kindle and on Amazon Audible, and they can read more about it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Rodu. I appreciate your time on the show today.
Enjoyed our conversation, Debbie.
Very enlightening. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.